Hey Glasgow, what's up? And welcome to USpeak, the coolest debate show on TV. Get ready for some wild discussions that really get us going. We're diving into all the drama from the buzz around to Palestinian banners at Celtic Park to Marvel versus DC. We then jump to Scottish independence and finally end the debate on intense Just Stop Oil protests. Our panel is geared for a verbal showdown. Let's get started.
Thousands of Celtic fans defied their club's orders to not show support for Palestine by flying flags in the Champions League clash against Atletico Madrid. The club was fined by UEFA back in 2014 after fans made a similar political statement. Some fans flew flags again after the recent Hamas attacks in the Scottish League, which saw Celtic issue a new warning ahead of the high-profile European game with Atletico not to do it. But fan group Green Brigade called on people to show support for Palestine, handing out flags outside the ground ahead of the game. They say football fans should have the right to express themselves and strongly oppose the ban on making political statements at football games. These are fans whose rivalry with Glasgow Rangers is built upon differences in politics, religion and identity. Celtic say they respect their fans' views on the Israel-Gaza conflict but urge them to focus on the football. But the club is still likely to be punished again by UEFA for failing to stop the flags flying.
So, there we have two guests to debate on the showing of the Palestinian flag at the Celtic versus Atletico Madrid Champions League game. We have Celtic supporter Sam and Rangers fan Scarlett to debate on the topic. Now, for the first question, what did you think about the fact the Palestinian flag was shown at the Celtic versus Atletico Madrid game?
I think it was a positive thing on a lot of fronts. I think not only did it unite the fans in a sense, because not only was it the Green Brigade that were showing the flags, there were the flags all over the entire stadium. I was at the game and there was a wee drunk guy in front of me who had a wee Palestine flag and he was happy that he was in on, the cause, and the cause being based on oppression in a sense, and that's what the club was built on. So I just think it's good that the Celtic fans use the platform that is football, use the platform that is the Champions League to bring themselves closer and support a good cause.
And Scarlett, do you have any thoughts on this?
We know that the Celtic as a team have supported terrorist groups in the past, so it's no surprise that they're doing it yet again. In general, it just takes away from the game. It takes away what you're there for. You're not there for a political debate at the end of the day. You're there to watch a game of football, to relieve some stress, to just have a bit of fun, not to see all these flags waving about and being like, oh no, this is happening. Yes, sad. It is sad, but at the end of the day, what can we do about it?
Well, I was at the game and the Palestine thing did not take away from the game at all. We still drew with the Atletico Madrid. So
Didn't get very far in the end though, did it? Didn't go any further though.
where are you in the Champions League? Where are you in Europa League?
Where were
You're
you
in Europa League?
Yeah, where were you in the Europa League?
Okay, that's not the point. Moving on.
Yeah, I'm going to jump in. So how do you feel about the fine that got issued to the Celtic Football Club?
Not enough. Should have been more. I like that they got banned. Should have been banned for longer though. Because it just proves they got banned for a reason, showing that that was the wrong thing. So at the end of the day, it was to stop conflict and stuff, and they just ended up closing more.
People have had repercussions for things that they shouldn't have had repercussions for in the past, so that's not us. You got banned, so therefore you're wrong. No, it is debatable. But I think they were banned because Celtic just didn't want the controversy, and they were more upset that, not that the fans were backing a cause, because I'm pretty sure Celtic, correct me if I'm wrong, came out and said that it's not because of that, it's just because of the whole, they don't want the controversy, they don't want the confrontation. That was why the Green Brigade
They
got
don't want to
banned.
lose more money. That's it. That's it at the end of the day. Like, they can say all this all they want, but nobody believes them. Well, nobody believes a Celtic fan either, so not hard.
Okay, and how do you feel that the Israeli-Hamas conflict has impacted the UK as a whole?
I think it definitely has, in a sense, like with boycotts and protests, for example, because the boycotts are causing an effect. I think Starbucks have made some actions towards trying to fight it, in a sense, because Starbucks are being boycotted, and I don't know what else is, but there's definitely been some sort of impact just in general to the UK.
It's been a nuisance, if I'm honest. I just want to get to McDonald's and I can't get there without being stopped or being guilt-tripped. I just want to go
Not
eat
been
my
stopped
food.
you?
No, I have been stopped, actually. So,
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, well, we're going to take a wee look at a tweet now. It's from Rishi Sunak. Do you believe other countries should now get involved to help solve the conflict?
Well, define get involved, because I don't think, we should be sending out troops to Palestine, do you know what I mean? But I think aid and support is definitely the way we should, quote unquote, or any other country should, quote unquote, get involved.
Okay, so like medical supplies,
Yeah.
food, that sort of thing.
No, I
Okay.
agree with that. Probably the only thing I can agree with you on this one.
Well, both our guests have raised great points, and more amazing points will be brought up on more topics after the break. We'll see you then.
I've got an idea for a Heinz ketchup commercial. I was at this super posh restaurant. Super posh. The type of place that has chandeliers and paintings on the wall and way too many forks. I think classical music was playing, but maybe it was jazz. No, definitely classical. The hostess walks up to me and she says, "Mr. Sheeran, is this your first time dining with us?" And I say, "Yep." The waiter comes over, he's telling me about the specials. Super fancy, fancy vegetables, fancy sauces. I said, "Sounds fancy." So fast forward and the food comes. The waiter goes on to tell me, "We are proud to present this farm-to-table blah blah blah, posh and fancy blah blah blah, with a side of blah blah blah." The food looked good. I just thought there was something missing. So I reach into my bag and I take out the only thing that can complete me. And at that point, the whole world came to a stop. And the waiter was screaming through his eyes. So that's my idea. Do you want to do it?
Welcome back. Are you ready for another heated debate? The topic now being Marvel versus DC. 37% of comic book revenue comes from Marvel, whereas DC Comics bring in about 26%. But will DC be the better brand, or will Marvel? Let's... So, our two guests who will be debating on Marvel versus DC. Ross is our DC fanatic and Cosman our Marvel enthusiast. Now, for the first question. What makes Marvel heroes or DC heroes better than the other? Cosman, would you like to go first?
Oh, simple. The directors, the actors, the writers, and Stanley. Easy.
Short and sweet, to the
Yes.
point. Ross, you get a counterpoint?
I mean, just on that about directors, you've had Christopher Nolan with the Dark Knight trilogy, one of the best film directors out there. You're gonna, say about that. Yeah.
Can you name anyone else who's directed a good DC movie?
I mean, James Gunn. James Gunn's directed a couple of ones. He's done really well there. So
I guess.
Zack Snyder.
he's done some good ones.
Zack Snyder.
He's done a couple of good ones.
The Snyderverse.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, and on the topic of Christopher Nolan, he directed The Dark Knight. So, would you think The Dark Knight is better or not better than the Avengers Endgame film?
As a general movie, yes, The Dark Knight is well above Avengers Endgame. Endgame's a great spectacle, but as a general movie, The Dark Knight is way better. It's probably one of the best comic book movies.
Could you elaborate more on that? Like, what makes it stand out so well?
Oh, the
compared to others?
director, you had the director Christopher Nolan plus the acting from Christian Bale, Heath Ledger, and all the supporting cast.
Mhm.
They did amazing in that film. Just the way it's shot, I think it was just better shot, and also they used a lot less CGI. It's mostly practical, so
Yeah.
I prefer that kind of filmmaking.
Cosman, any thoughts? Do you think Endgame was better than Dark Knight?
Yes, 100%. The Dark Knight, when that came out, 2008.
And it still holds up today.
And when's the last time DC had a good movie since then? They're just holding to the past. Avengers Endgame, Infinity War, 2018, 2019, bangers. how many bangers since then? Moon Knight, Spider-Man No Way Home. Do you want me to keep going? I could
No Way
go on
Home,
forever.
No Way Home, they kind of capitalised off of just having their other actors back. You know, it kind of was
Oh.
a slim plot, wasn't it?
All right.
Like, oh, what are we going to do? How are we going to get people back? Or just bring back the other actors? You know, that's all they really did, isn't it?
Oh yeah, name me good DC films after The Dark Knight.
Wonder Woman, Man of Steel, Man of
Wonder
Steel,
Woman.
Man of Steel
Man
as
of
well.
Steel.
Man of Steel
By
brought
Zack Snyder.
Man of Steel brought Henry Cavill as Superman. Best Superman.
Best Superman that destroys the whole city.
I mean, he's an
Oh,
alien. He's an alien. And it wasn't really him. It was, you know, Zod.
Alright,
was
but I
them
could have
fighting.
took him to a field or something or somewhere.
Oh, he had a lot on his mind, didn't he?
Nah, and then he snapped his neck. What? Wow.
It's just save
What a
civilians.
good
Just save
superhero.
civilians. How many times does a Spider-Man villain die because of Spider-Man? That was the whole point of most of the ones in No Way Home came back because they'd been killed by Spider-Man.
They haven't been killed. They've been killed by their own actions.
All right, well, we're going to look at a tweet now. It's on screens from Thanos. Are DC villains better or Marvel villains, and why? Who'd like to go first?
I like the first. Well, Thanos. I agree with Thanos. He's one of the best Marvel villains. Doc Ock, Green Goblin, Killmonger, Thanos.
One-hit wonders. Most of them. One-hit wonders.
Okay, name me DC then. Villains.
I mean, you got Joker, you got Bane, you got Ra's al Ghul from the Dark Knight trilogy.
All from the
You
Dark
had
Knight.
Two-Face. Most of the villains
Name
you
me
use.
something recent then.
Something recent.
Yeah.
When you had the Black Adam.
Black Adam. The Rock.
It was Rock.
The Rock.
The Rock.
The Rock.
The Rock.
The Rock. The Rock
So
is a
this is going
villain.
to keep going back and forward here, The Rock.
That's so sorry.
The Rock.
You kidding me? The
You know, he
Rock.
plays.
The guy
he's
is in
he's
the
the
WWE.
protagonist of that. He's the protagonist of that, but he's not a good guy, is he?
The-
The
Becomes
character.
a good guy at the end.
No,
He's
he
not a
doesn't.
villain.
He doesn't kill a good guy at the end. He
Yes,
actually
he does.
threatens. He actually threatens people at the end. He's killing people the whole time.
The Rock as a villain. That's pathetic. Meanwhile, we got Killmonger. Oh, 2 movies. He kills it.
One movie, he was in somewhat in the second, but
And
really he was only
killed it.
in.
That wee tiny part in Black Panther Wakanda Forever was better than all The Rock has ever done in his life.
I mean, The Rock's had questionable stuff, but he couldn't die in that film.
DC villains are
Killmonger did.
terrible.
Okay, so last thoughts. Best villain. Who is it?
Joker.
Joker? Cousin?
Just Joker. Embarrassing. Best villain? Probably Green Goblin.
Green Goblin. All right, well, thank you for that. After the break, our guests will be debating Scottish independence. Stay tuned and we'll see you after the break.
Dad, this is my new boyfriend, Jeff.
Nice to meet you, Mr. McGee.
Hey, you too, son. So, any plans?
Just gonna take Wembley here for a walk.
He's a cheeky wee fella, eh?
Now our guests will be discussing and debating over something that has been debated for a long time. Independence for Scotland. Should Scotland be independent from the rest of the UK? Let's find out. So, please welcome back to the next debate. Sam, an advocate for Scottish independence, and Jake, who helped with the Better Together campaign. Now, for the first question. Do you think Scotland should go independent? Sam?
Chloe, I do. Funnily enough, I don't like England much, and personally, I feel like the Scottish and Scotland as a country would be a hell of a lot happier if we didn't have, this little brother that's constantly clinging on to us, holding us back. Do you know what I mean? So that's just how I feel about it. I think we could have our own currency, our own policies, our own. I know we kind of have our own government with whatnot, but I'm honestly not thinking politics here. I'm just thinking England are really annoying, and what my heart is telling me. And there's a statistic, funnily enough. Did you know that 9 out of 10 Scottish people hate the English?
That seems accurate.
Aye.
I would believe that, yes.
Aye.
Do you have any counterpoints to make?
Personally, I don't think Scotland should be independent because studies have been found that multiple ways we would have made our income if we had gone independent have tanked after that referendum, so we would have ended up bankrupt and probably having to go crawling back to Britain and England to beg for help.
Mm-hmm. Okay, fair points.
Oh, studies found that England is any good for us, though.
So, Sam, do you believe Scotland would have been better if it become independent in 2014?
Absolutely, without a doubt. And studies find that you're wrong. Source me. So I don't remember much of the referendum. I think my mum was pretty hardcore into it. And then I had some beef with my neighbour because of it. There was a whole thing.
Oh, wow.
But that's for another day. I'm pretty sure I was told it was rigged, so therefore it was rigged. It was rigged.
It was
Did you hear
rigged.
that? That's all I know.
Okay, Jake?
Personally, no, I don't think so because, as said, studies found that the whiskey industry, the oil industry, both skyrocketed downwards in terms of money, which means we would have ended up bankrupt, especially since the oil that's off of Scotland's shores, we don't even own. It's things like Russians, the Dutch who own the oil, they just bring it to Scotland because we're the closest nation to be able to offload it.
Mm-hmm.
So with oil prices tanking, they would have had less reason to keep farming the oil and bring it ashore, which means we would have been losing out on money.
Okay.
If Ireland can do it, so can we.
Okay, well, next we're going to look at a tweet. This tweet is from Brian Cox, and he says, "Do you think there should be another referendum in the future for Scotland?"
Yep, it was rigged. Give us another one.
Is that
I'm trying to figure out fast. No, also Eurovision.
Oh, of course, Eurovision. Can't forget it.
Never mind, move on. Take me away from this.
So is that all your thoughts?
No, yeah, it's going to Jake.
Okay, Jake, do you think there should be another one?
Personally, I don't think there should, not at least for a long while, because when the original referendum happened in 2014, Scotland was told it would be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity by the British government, which means, when we lost, Scottish Parliament was demanding another one immediately and refused to accept the answer that it was once in a lifetime and there wouldn't be another one for at least 70, 80 years if they got another one.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And do you believe there's another solution that could work instead of becoming independent then?
Personally, I think there could be, rather than becoming independent, possibly if the British government gave more freedom and choices, not just for Scotland, but for Wales and Northern Ireland as well,
I forgot they
to
existed.
decide more of their own laws, and with certain laws not requiring permission from the British government. Because if it should only affect Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland, they should be able to decide by themselves without needing influence from the British Parliament, since it's just affecting their country, not the entirety of Britain.
Fair points.
Personally, I feel we just do Battle of Bannockburn Part 2.
At the Stirling Bridge.
Oh,
that's the one we
could be interesting.
That's one we won against England, right?
Yeah.
There we go. Oh, I'm smart.
No one thing in history.
England was stupid enough to try
That's the
crossing
one
the
with
bridge.
William Wallace in that.
You don't
That
get
would be the
beheaded.
Scottish Wars of Independence,
Poor.
yes.
Oh, so I'm still right?
Yeah.
Oh,
This is at the
hell
same
yeah.
time.
Small
yeah.
William Wallace until he was killed.
And there was another one.
Robert
on
the
a
Bruce.
roll, can you
Robert
get
the
3 or 3?
Bruce. I was going to hit it 3 for 3 there with my knowledge, but that's as far as it goes.
All right, well, thank you for your thoughts regarding this. After the break, we will have our guest debating on the ultimate debate, the debate on the Just Stop Oil campaign. We'll see you then.
In the countryside where the weather is fine, it's Ribena time, so get in line. Got all the vitamin C, you need daily, yeah, that's right. But take a jump, take a dive, they'll do anything to get inside. We're British black currants, bursting with berryness, all right.
Welcome back. Our guests Scarlett and Ross will be debating about the Just Stop Oil protests, and we'll see what our guests' opinions are, and we will have some questions from the viewers. Are you ready for the final debate?
Drop Harry.
Now on to the final debate. We have our guests in the seat and your questions ready. So let's start with our first question of the final debate. So, how would you approach protesting about the situation, Ross?
Well, I think we were doing fine. I like what we're doing because we're getting the message across. We're stopping climate change. Yippee!
Is that what you think you're doing?
Yeah, we are.
All you're doing is annoying people.
Well, you annoy me, but I don't say anything, do I?
Well, I just called you out and that's annoying. What?
So how would you approach the protesting then, Ross, if the current way isn't up to your standard?
I wouldn't be protesting, I'd be putting the work in. There's a difference between just going out and spreading word and actually doing work for it. And they're not doing that. All they're doing is sitting around. You know, this generation, the laziest form of work is them sitting around. The most common form of work is them sitting around. They don't know how to do an actual honest day's work.
We do not just sit around. Actually,
It's all I've ever seen.
No, we don't just sit on the road. Sometimes we stand on them.
No,
we
you
just,
always sit, because if you get stood up, you get pushed down anyway.
No. I mean, I've never been hit by a car, but that's
Yet.
irrelevant. Like, but no, we need to stop this. We need to stop using oil, and we need to make a change now, today.
You're not,
and we
you're not helping
we
that.
do, because at least we go out and do something. You sit in your room and play Fortnite.
Where are you getting the information from?
I know things.
I would doubt that, but they're not doing the work. They're just claiming that they're doing work. They're not. You'll be going out cleaning beaches, but you're not. You're just sat there, just annoying people.
You're boring.
And you
Okay.
don't seem to care about your actions.
So, Ross, do you believe that the protesters should be arrested and charged for the
Absolutely,
nuisance they're
yeah.
causing?
Absolutely. They're stopping emergency services from doing their work, for one. Ambulances have been held up for miles because they can't get past these idiots sitting
but
in the
we
road
are-
half a mile up. And they
We
can't
are
get through
saving future generations.
by sacrificing this generation.
No, only a couple people, like 1 or 2 people can die. Like, I don't mind. Like, my gran died, but I don't care. Do you know what
And
I
you
mean?
wonder why they should be arrested. You've
We
had
are
an
not
open
going to be
criminal
arrested. We'll
here.
protest against that too if we must.
You won't get a chance to. You'll be behind bars, and that's where you belong.
All right, well, we're going to take a look at a tweet from one of our viewers next. We'll just put it up on screen here. So, this is from David Linden. What do you think of the movement as a whole?
This movement is needed. We need this movement because we need to make the change. And if we don't make the change, nobody will. And then our
You're not
future
making any change.
generation.
You're not making any change.
Can I finish speaking, please?
You'll make a valid point then.
I am making valid points. I just don't want to hear your voice anymore.
I haven't heard one valid point this entire time.
Get a grip.
Okay, so what do you think of the movement then, Ross?
The movement's a scandalous shambles. All they're doing is disrupting people. All they're doing is disrupting. They're not doing any work, and they're causing the problem to be solved less because they're turning people away from the actual cause of it. Climate change is a real problem, and people don't believe it because of these idiots.
Okay. Fair points.
I'm not an idiot.
Prove it.
I have higher maths, actually. So you can go away.
Have you
leave
actually
me
done the
alone.
work to study this climate change issue? All,
Yes,
all
I
you're going to do
have.
is sit
I
that
met
vest
Greta.
on.
Leave my vest alone. I think it looks quite cool. I have met Greta Thunberg.
Oh,
And as you would say,
that's not-
how
that
dare
is
you say
not-
that to
That is
me?
not a gloat. You've met that idiot.
She is not Egypt. She is making a real change, unlike you.
Well,
I bet you eat meat as well. You're not even vegan, are you?
yeah, I'm surprised, honestly. Are you vegan?
Of course I'm vegan.
I'm so surprised you've got the energy to sit up here and scream and shout like that.
I have plenty of energy. Thank you very much.
You don't get energy from
Do
the
not
lettuce.
insult me.
All right, well, we've got another tweet from another viewer before that gets a bit too heated. This one is from Tommy Robinson. So, do you believe the government should get involved?
I do, yeah. They should be financing cleaner energy, but they're not, and they're not getting any, people backing it because these people are turning them off.
Okay. Scarlett, do you think the government should get involved?
Yes, that's all we're trying to do. We're trying to protest to get the government involved. We need more money, we need more funding, and we need to make a real change. Also, we are doing something because that's what we're trying to...
Where's that funding going?
We are going to shut down all these nuclear power plants. We're going to shut down all these oil places, We will switch to sunflower oil, guys, because that's so healthy.
What you're going to do is shut down our only sources of fuel and not make any renewable energy, not make the subsequent...
We will make some wind turbine thingies that spin. You're annoying me, go away.
All right, well, that's all we have time for. So that's all the debating for today. Join us next time for more intense debates. Goodbye.